Hey all you beautiful, highly motivated souls out there, Rod once again. I'm coming to you from Afghanistan once again, but maybe not for much longer. I am actually outside the hospital here in Afghanistan. I seem to have caught myself a bit of a hernia, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. You know, I really believe that my intents and my thoughts drive my life in the direction I want it to go. But we don't always get to control the how in that aspect. We get to control the what and the where, but we don't always get to control the how and the when. So I really believe that God's using this hernia as a vehicle, if you will, to drive me from where I am to where I really want to go. So we're just going to hold on and see and wait for the blessing to come out of this. But since I do have a lot of free time on my hands now, I wanted to come to you guys and talk to you about reality today. Yeah, that's right. I said a reality. We're going to get a little philosophical here. About what is real, you know, and what's you know, true and not true, or right and wrong. You know, we're going to talk about what is real, and then we're going to talk about, you know, how we can change our reality. So let's get into it, guys. What is real? You know, what is this whole idea of reality? You know, a lot of people will go, if you ask them now, you know, what's reality, they'll go with the senses. They'll like to say whatever you can touch or see or hear, that's real. Well, you got to understand that really those senses are just inputs to our mind, right? You know, they don't have any perception in their own or bias to kind of create or structure a reality. You know, when I touch something and it's hot, you know, my brain has to perceive that heat in order for it to become real. You know, without that, you know, it's really just a null input, if you will. So can't really go with that as reality, you know, the gold standard. You know, everybody's going to feel and see and hear things differently, so can't really go with that. A lot of people will try and bank it on science, which is a good one. You know, I get where we're going with that. You know, I believe in science. You know, I know that science, you know, tends to prove a lot of things, quote unquote. You know, the law of gravity, it works, obviously, but you know, this is also the science that gave us the Earth is flat and static continents. I guess my point is, science is wrong every day, really. You know, which is okay. It's a discovery process. You know, they're not always going to nail it right on the head. They're not always going to get it right. And you know, really, they can only go off of what they know right now. So really, it's just the perception of reality that we know now. You know, as technology evolves and their understanding evolves, they tend to find, you know, more things out and tend to disprove a lot of things that we used to think were real and now are not so much. So again, we can't really bank on that as some kind of gold standard to what is real and not real, or true and not true. So, you know, just using those two examples, what was the kind of common denominator? Is perception. You know, perception is reality. How you perceive and understand the world is reality. So everybody does that differently. Everybody perceives the world and sees the world differently. So I guess the whole point in this video is to kind of get us away from this whole idea that there's some kind of gold standard, right? You know, everybody likes to think that there is. Really what everybody likes to do is impose their own reality as the truth. You know, they like to believe that what I believe or what I have, the way I perceive the world is real, and everybody should perceive the world that way. But it's not the case. See, our perceptions are based on beliefs, you know, and experiences, and the way that our mind has been molded and shaped over the years is gonna determine how we perceive things. So we can't really say, you know, the gold standard or you know, it's different for everybody is what I'm getting at. So, you know, let's do a couple of little demonstrations first and kind of, you know, ask ourselves some questions, if you will. Here I got a notebook. So, you know, most of us will all say, you know, this is a book of paper or a notepad, whatever you want to call it. But what if, since the day you were born, I convinced you that this notepad was, say, a rock? Okay, every day. And for the sake of our experiment, let's just go ahead and assume there's no other outside sources. I don't know, maybe I kept you in a bubble in the basement. But every single day I told you that this was a rock. And on your 21st birthday, I sent you out into the world, and you grabbed this and you went to start building a house with it. And everybody was like, what are you doing? And you were like, well, I'm using this rock to build a house. And everybody would say, what? That's not a rock. That's paper. And you would say, no, it's a rock. And everybody else would be like, no, it's paper. And eventually they might convince you that it's paper. They probably use what's called collective reasoning. They'll grab their friends together, and their friends will be like, no, 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 that is paper. And so, they might convince you, but deep down you're always going to kind of wonder, like, are you sure it's not a rock? Who's right? Think about it. Who's got the gold standard of reality here? I mean, nobody really. In my reality, this is a rock, and in your reality, it's paper. But it really just comes down to conditioning, right? We've been conditioned to believe whatever we've been conditioned to believe this is. Let's use another example. Another good one, I guess, is religion. This might be a little touchy for some people, and that's okay. If you don't like it, you don't have to just prescribe to it. But say you were born a Christian, or you were born into a Christian family. You've been raised Christian, and you believe that. You believe the Bible 100%. You believe the Word of God to a T. Now, what if you were born in China, though, to Chinese parents? Do you think you would still be Christian? I mean, there in China, the predominant religion is Buddhism. Do you think you'd still be Christian? Honestly, if I had to bank on it, I'd probably say you'd probably be Buddhist. And in the end, you'd probably believe in Buddhism with the same exact conviction that you believe in Christianity. See, again, that was just a conditioning of your environment. So we've come to understand this idea that perception is reality, right? How we perceive the world is reality, but what are we supposed to do with that, right? I know that's where we're going. It's like, oh, thanks for the philosophical lesson on reality, Rod, but how do I apply that to my life? What exactly am I supposed to do with that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, I'm trying to get you guys to understand a couple different principles, and this first principle is going to be the fact that everybody's reality is different, right? And so if we take the time to understand that principle, that people experience the world in different ways, have been conditioned in different ways, we can start to accept everybody for who they are and their belief systems, and stop trying to challenge everybody to say, oh, you're wrong, or no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. You got to understand that everybody has their own way of how it's supposed to be, even right and wrong. I know it seems extreme, guys. I know that we see a lot of things in the world happening, and we're quick to judge and say, well, that's wrong, or you shouldn't be able to do that. But that's not fair, because, like I said, to them, they're looking at you thinking the same exact thing. And so this process that we're going to go on, let me explain to you in a second, is going to do two things, and the first thing it's going to do is going to help you understand the world. It's going to help you understand where everybody else is coming from and where you're coming from, and so that way you can kind of have a little bit more compassion and a little bit more understanding about why some of the things that happen, right? And I think that's important in life, because we're all different, and we all come from different backgrounds, and if we continue to try and impose our own reality on other people as morally right or morally wrong, or this and that, the conflicts that we're having are going to keep continuing. So, that's one benefit. But the other benefit is the fact that reality is perception, and perceptions can change. Perceptions can change almost like that, to tell you the truth, and that's great, because that means that your reality can change just like that. See, as we've already talked about and everything, is your perception or your idea of reality is built on your belief system, on the things that you've experienced in your life, and mostly, honestly, 85% of it is beliefs that other people dumped into your mind. Your parents, your schools, your friends, you name it, the news, everything around you is dumping these ideas into your head, and therefore creating your perception of reality. And so essentially we've been going around, and everybody's been creating our reality for us, and creating our perception, essentially. And why is that a bad thing? Well, if you look around and you love your reality, if you love the way you experience in the world, and it's bringing you happiness and joy every day, and you're loving to the full extent that you can, and you're finding the success and accomplishments that you want to, then absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us who are not experiencing those things, who are not loving the way we want to love, and not seeing the results in our life that we want to see, well, this is a terrible thing, right? But I have good news. Guess what, guys? You can choose. you don't have to subscribe to these ideas and these beliefs that everybody else is dumping into your head, or that your past experiences have created for you. You see, like I said before, perceptions can change, guys, and it starts by changing those belief systems. So let me use an example from my own life, right? Up till age about 22 or 23-ish, I don't know, but I was grown, I'll tell you that much. I was deathly afraid of clowns. Did not like them. Would avoid them at all costs. Wouldn't go to circus, wouldn't nothing. I was that guy who, as soon as I seen a clown, I'd turn around and run, right? And one day I got to thinking, and now this is the key, guys, is the thinking part, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But I started thinking, I said, Rod, you are a grown-ass man, and you're running away from a clown. You are literally running away from a man in a suit, right? And I used to peg it on this whole idea that I saw this scary movie, It. You ever seen the movie It? Scary clown. I saw it as a kid, and that's fine. To a 7-year-old, that is scary. But I wasn't 7. I was 23 years old, and so through that whole questioning this idea of where did I get this idea of being scared from? Is it really serving the purpose in my life, or is it bringing me anything that I need? I started realizing, like, no, absolutely not. It's got to go. It's got to go. So what I did was I took that belief out, that I'm scared of clowns belief, and I put in the you are a grown-ass man belief, and this is a man in a suit belief, and really now I'm not. I could care less. Like you said, I'm just like everybody else. I understand the whole idea behind it, but a lot of us never go through that process. We never actually stop and start questioning these ideas that we have and where they came from. We just kind of take them as face value. We just walk around and we do this with all kinds of stuff, guys. Our fears, like I said, a lot of us have been beating our head against the wall with failed relationship after failed relationship, but we never stop and ask ourselves, what am I doing wrong? We always kind of point to the outside, but we got to start doing that. You got to start questioning everything, guys. Everything that you think or believe about the world, question it and find out. Question it from your side, question it from other people's perspective, outside third person perspective, you name it, and just start really digging deep into where you get these things from, your fears, things that you believe to be right or wrong, or true or not true. Ask yourself, is it really? And through that process, like we talked about, you're going to gain understanding. You'll gain understanding of other people and their ideas and where their ideas come from, and your own. And you'll start to kind of pick apart the ones that fit your life and are beneficial to you. Like the idea that this is a notepad. That's a common collective reasoning, and it helps us get through our day, or it helps us, kind of interact with the world and together, so that's okay, fine, we can believe in this, and the law of gravity, we can believe in that, and even our religious beliefs, if they bring us joy and peace inside, and that's something that makes us happy, then that's fine. But go around and ask a lot of people, why do you believe in the Bible, and they honestly probably can't answer you. Well, because it's the Word of God. Okay, well, exactly. And so you just got to dig into these things, guys, and through digging into them, you can start to pick and choose the beliefs that you like and don't like. And this process isn't easy, okay? I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you that it is. You've been, like I said, conditioned. It's a habit to believe these things and to take them at complete face value and as, like I said, the gold standard of reality. But as you start to practice with it, you'll get better and better. And you'll really start to pick apart the things that are not beneficial to your life and take them out. This idea that, oh, well, I come from the slums, I come from the hood, so I'll always be from the hood. But where did you get that idea from? How is that idea serving a purpose in your life? How is that helping you to grow and become what you truly are meant to become? It's not, guys. It's not. And wherever you pick that idea up from, I promise you, if you start to question it, you'll start to understand that there's tons of people who got about the slums. There's millions of people who have changed their lives and gone to be great things, and you'll start to understand that you're no different than them and that you can do it too. And so you'll start to take that belief system out that I can't believe, and put in the I can do whatever I want to believe, right? And so that's that. I've already kind of gone long about this, and I didn't really mean to. It's supposed to just be like an impromptu rant, but I just start that process, guys. Start questioning everything. It's really going to be a cornerstone of the belief or the philosophy that I'm trying to teach here. And as we go forward, you know, it's going to constantly, I mean, don't even take what I'm saying for face value. Question it, you know, see if it's beneficial to you at all, you know, and we got to stop just mindlessly droning through life, guys. We've been gifted with this amazing brain to analyze and to reason with the world, and we're just, frankly, most of us just aren't using it. Okay, so, you know, stop and think every now and then, and decide for yourself, you know, how do you want to perceive the world, you know, how do you want to experience your reality, and you know, chase that down. So I hope I got you guys thinking, you know. If you got any questions or you want to add something or comments, please drop it down below. And you know, I'm definitely going to join the conversation, because obviously I love talking about this stuff, and I love each and every one of you guys out there. Okay, so once again, it's Rod. Peace out.